All right, y'all. Let's have a talk about fair pronouns.
What, are we making up words now?
I have seen far too many people on this app with neo-pronouns get literally bullied off because of people not understanding how to use them, where they come from, and why they're valid. To conjugate them, it is similar to they, them, their self. It is fair, and fairs, and fair self. The most common discourse is that fair pronouns are appropriated from Celtic culture, and while there's a lot of information around this discourse, the short answer is no, it's not. 1, the word fae doesn't actually come from Celtic origin, it's from an Old Germanic root. 2, fairies are not exclusive to European culture. And 3, fairy is a human term used for them. They do not use that name for themselves, so they would not be offended. Fair pronouns and neo-pronouns are all valid. Sit the f*** down and shut up.
Go on a diet, you fat...
Now listen, I had absolutely no issues with that young lady we just heard from until she told me to sit the f*** down and shut up. And no, maybe she wasn't directly speaking to me, but I am of the opinion that fair pronouns and neo-pronouns are not valid, so yeah, in a roundabout way, she was talking to me. Anyway, welcome back. Thank you guys so much for joining me. So listen, I have a crazy video for you guys today. It's probably going to make your head spin and your blood boil. So I have a clip from a LDP, damn it.
LGBTQ2+.
Isn't that exactly what I just said? Whatever. Anyway, we're going to hear from one of those activists talking in front of some committee somewhere, trying to justify men going in women's locker rooms. Then we're going to hear from Joe Biden's publicist, diversity hire Karine Jean-Pierre, talking about the 3 troops that were recently lost overseas. And like I said, it's going to make your head spin and your blood boil. We're also going to hear from our old pal Al Weezy talk about how men aren't masculine enough. Oh, the irony. And speaking of Al Weezy, also known as Gorlock the Destroyer, if you're wondering what we're looking at on the screen here, no, this isn't a beluga whale in captivity in the Miami Aquarium. This is Al Weezy's most recent OOTN, or Outfit of the Night. Ooh.
It's funny because he's fat.
All right, like I said, we got a lot to cover in today's video, so let's keep this party rolling with a good old-fashioned case of TDS, also known as Trump Derangement Syndrome. Now, this lady says if you have to pay taxes this year, it's Trump's fault, because of course it is. Now, she makes an interesting statement about being divorced twice, which is very telling, very telling. Roll it.
Who are posting about having to pay taxes this year. It's only January, and hopefully people are going to figure out that the reason they're having to pay taxes this year is because of Donald Trump. Thanks to TikTok, a lot of those people are going to figure that out. I wonder how many of them might have voted for Donald Trump before they figured out that he's responsible for them having to he's responsible for the withholding rules changing and all of that bullshit, trying to give them more money in their pockets and then totally screwing everybody at the checkout counter, so to speak, when they go to file their taxes. It happened last year to me. I think that it rolls out for different incomes. Over the year, I make a little bit more money. So it happened last year. And I had to pay $4,000 last year in taxes. So this year I started contributing. I also had the wrong filing status because I hadn't switched from married filing jointly to head of household since I had divorced my second husband. But yeah, so I started taking out $100 from every paycheck to contribute to the stupid goddamn taxes. You know, the whole point of withholding is so you don't have to do that. But because the Trump taxes are so shockingly poorly constructed, shocking in sarcastic quotation marks, everybody is ending up having to pay taxes because their withholding all of a sudden doesn't automatically take out the right amount anymore.
What did you say? What the f did you just say?
The reason they're having to pay taxes this year is because of Donald Trump.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
So we've all been getting robbed for decades by the government with taxes, and all of a sudden it's Trump, Trump, Trump. Wow, these people have completely lost the plot. Anyway, we're going to jump back over to Weezy talking about masculinity and gender roles. And keep in mind, as you're listening to this, Weezy's a dude. Roll it.
I'm not a big fan of toxic masculinity or like whatever, like the norms, I guess. But I like when there's just like a little bit of that, like I'm the man and I'm going to take charge, you know? Like, cause like, why not, you know? I feel like a lot of boys need to start being boys though. Like when it comes to like the male roles, because a lot of like men nowadays are expecting princess treatment. And it's like, okay, well, I want that energy just as bad as you do. For example, like let's say I get a flat tire on the side of the road and we're together, you better know how to change that tire. Like you better know how to do these things. Cause if I have to call my dad, just like I said, no, sorry.
What the f is this guy talking about?
Now, let me just say this. If you're a guy out on a date with Weezy, knowing how to change a flat tire on a car is the least of your problems. Anyway, next up. So this is Minnesota Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan talking about protecting trans kids. And she says parents need to listen to their children, not the other way around. Roll it.
Because let's be clear, this is life-affirming and life-saving healthcare. When our children tell us who they are, it is our job as grown-ups to listen and to believe them. That's what it means to be a good parent.
Are you out of your fucking mind?
But keep this in mind. A parent listening to a child is only contingent on that child coming out as trans. If a child comes out and says they're a Power Ranger or Batman or Superman, no. Then the child is just playing make-believe. But if the child says they're trans, then we have to listen to them. Folks, this is the collapse of society. Anyway, next up. So if any of you are from Pennsylvania, you may be interested in what this young lady has to say. Roll it.
Listen, okay? Can we all start calling people that live in Pennsylvania pencils instead of Pennsylvanians? Like, if we all do it, it'll catch on, I promise.
You look ridiculous.
I don't know anything about calling people from Pennsylvania pencils, but why would that young lady do that to her face? And listen, I'm all for tattoos, but that's not a good look. I'm sorry, it's just not. Anyway, next up. So apparently the El Paso Police Department has a new policy that you're about to hear. Now, I have not independently verified to see if this is true. It was just the title of this video is El Paso Police Department's new policy. However, I will say that in the clown world we are living in today, I 100% believe this is true. Roll it.
You ask that when we encounter an individual that we ask what their preferred name, gender identity, and pronoun would be when we address them, and to refer to those individuals that request to be called a specific name, that we use that in our conversations with them.
You gotta be fucking kidding me.
Hey guys, real quick, we don't have any sponsors for today's video. If you'd like to sponsor the next video to help support the channel, there is a PayPal link in the description box below. And I will say your full name as a sponsor of said video unless stated otherwise by you.
What the hell is even that?
Alright guys, this is one of the clips I was talking about in the beginning of the video where this rainbow activist makes the craziest justification for men being in women's locker rooms. Why is this person and the two people behind her wearing masks? Like, what are we doing? Anyway, she's arguing against some kind of bill in front of some committee here, This clip's almost 2.5 minutes long. It's kind of long, but it's definitely worth the listen. It's very, very telling. Roll it.
And I developed breasts during puberty. So I'm a cisgender woman going through menopause, so I'm losing some of that strength. So I'm generally in opposition to laws that uphold the extermination of minorities. And this, HB.195, is a bite into the pursuit of happiness of trans kids. Next to come will be another crunch into the liberty of trans kids and adults. And the main course, or the final solution, and yes, I intentionally capitalize final solution, is a drooling, snarling chomp that the lives of all trans people in this state and the nation. People who can sit and listen to the testimony of actual trans people and stand on the side of this bill, I really question their taste in judgment. Ohio and other states mentioned, the 24 that have passed these bills, they follow them up. Moving on to access to health care for kids. Moving on to access for health care for adults. Then they move on to bathroom use, public bathrooms, employment, and visibility in public. The safety issue here isn't largely that someone's cis daughter is going to lose out to a trans girl in sports. Statistically, the data isn't there, and I have that here. I'll give it to you so you can check it out. And it isn't that she's going to be ruined for life by seeing a trans girl's penis in the locker room. In fact, statistically, that won't be the first penis she sees. The safety issue is a straight and narrow path to elimination of minorities, trans people, queer people, disabled people, Jewish people, black people, brown people, and a tightening definition of what is acceptable as man, woman, and human. The slippery slope is toward a future where everyone is looking over their shoulder as they point at each other, trying to save themselves from being masticated out of existence by fascism.
Your 2 minutes is up.
Please see the details of HB.396 going before the House on Thursday to prove my point. And please oppose this pro to trans kids bill 1205. Thank you.
What the hell did you just say?
And it isn't that she's going to be ruined for life by seeing a trans girl's penis in the locker room. In fact, statistically, that won't be the first penis she sees.
Are you totally deranged?
All right, guys, we're going to be wrapping it up with this clip of Joe Biden's publicist, diversity hire Karine Jean-Pierre, talking about the 3 soldiers that we recently lost in the Middle East. May they all rest in peace. It's a terrible tragedy. Don't even get me started on that. I think what Joe Biden has is contagious, and Karine Jean-Pierre has caught it because she starts stuttering and stammering just like he does. It's very bizarre. Then she says something that will enrage you. It will make your blood boil. I can't believe she said this, yet here we are. Anyway, guys, things are clearly getting very crazy out there, so please take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Till next time, I love you guys. Peace. Roll it.
What I will say, obviously our deepest condolences go out, and our heartfelt condolences go out to the families who lost three folks who are military folks, who are brave, who are always fighting, who are fighting on behalf of this administration, of the American people.
Say what?
Who are fighting on behalf of this administration, How dare you?
And you ain't black.